Hello and welcome to day 3 of the Great Apes Summit here in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. Delegates from the world of conservation as well as wildlife film documentary have come together to share ideas about rewriting the future of these endangered primates. Here in the midst of the Grand Teton National Park, the brightest minds are reaching for the cloud line to map a plan to save chimpanzee habitat. And leading the way is technology giant Google, together with primatologist Dr Jane Goodall. Last night, she spoke to me. Gombe is where it all started. Looking back all those years ago, what sort of memories do you have of when you started out?
When I first got to Gombe, it was 1960. At that time, there was forest all the way along the lake. And you could climb up to the top of the rift escarpment and look down. There was chimp habitat forest everywhere.
How important is it to have a Great Apes Summit?
Well, I think it's very important, and the important thing is bringing together the mix of people with their different perspectives, because the situation is so bad that we now have to really reach out and try everything. It's no good saying, well, perhaps this will work and maybe we'll know in 5 years. We have to do something now.
Dialogue is obviously key, but also technology. What sort of work have you been doing with Google?
With Google, with Esri and Digital Globe, making satellite images of the Great Ape range, and to give it a specific focus around Gombe National Park. All the forest had gone. There were more people living there than the land could support. The land that was there was over-farmed, and it was just bare hills where it had once been forest. But by using this technology, we were able to sit down with the local people and show them what was happening, and because they're required to put 10% of their land into conservation status, and because they loved how we were working with them as partners rather than trying to stop them doing what they were doing, they put 10% of their land aside to make a buffer around Gombe. So the different villages each put their 10%. And now, after 10 years, the chimpanzees have 3 times more forest than they had 10 years ago because of this. And also there's the beginning of a corridor moving down south, so that the first chimp has moved in from outside. And this is all due to the fact that we're using Google technology to train forest monitors to use these iPads. And when they come across like a chopped down tree or a chimpanzee in a snare, they immediately send a message up to this cloud, which can be downloaded. And so for the first time, it's absolutely transparent as to what is going on.
In 2005, Google Earth executives decided to approach the Jane Goodall Institute for a collaborative project. Its own research found she was the single most popular conservation figure.
It's been a fantastic collaboration because we're putting, we've actually just donated through our Androids for Good program 1,000 Android devices to the Jane Goodall Institute. They're putting those in the hands of the local community. And what's amazing is, although these people might not be comfortable with laptops, they can use mobile devices pretty easily. And we put on there a simple form. It can be pictures, or it can be questions in Swahili that they can answer. And that information is automatically time-stamped, date-stamped, GPS located. They just hit submit, and it goes into the Google Cloud, onto a Google Map, and into a database for conservation.
The Millennium Development Goals, which were set up in 2010, I believe, Goal 7 was to try to ensure environment stability by 2015. What happens, do you think, post-2015? What do we need to do?
Well, we won't have environmental stability by 2015, so we've still got a long way to go. And what needs to happen is a new mindset. We have to think of different values. We have to get away from the Western materialistic, greedy, exploitation, grabbing the natural resources from the land, we have to get away from reliance on fossil fuels. If we can't do this, if we can't move in a new direction, everything's finished. And the bizarre thing is, chimpanzees are our closest living relative. We share over 98% of our DNA with them. The brain is almost identical, it's just that ours is bigger. So how is it then that the most intellectual being that's ever walked on the planet can be destroying its only home? And there seems to be a disconnect then between this incredibly clever brain and the human heart, love and compassion. We're not thinking right. We're thinking in the immediate present.
Dr. Jane Goodall, thank you very much.